Well, good afternoon again. It's Monday today. Weekend's gone and it been brown cold. I'm a bit what you call khaki-handed here today. As you'll notice, I haven't got a tie on. Well, the simple reason for that is I was in hospital last week. I had a bit of surgery and all on my hand, the middle of my hand and my fingers and all. But we're on the mend. We're on the mend. It's like I said, you're going to look positive and look to the future. And I just hope that everybody's okay. And try not to worry too much about what's happening. Majority of the people are actually obeying what's going on, and we'll be all right. We'll get our injections, which they've started now. I'm quite excited to get mine. And I want to say thank you to all those in the hospitals working, the nurses, the doctors, the porters, everybody, people on the door and all, that made sure that we were safe. I did just feel if people that can't wear them, because they are people that can't wear masks for certain particular reasons that they can't, they're exempt from it. Well, if you're young enough, which I've seen quite a few are youngsters, I'm not saying they're passing it on, why don't they stay home? And just let's all we're only asking for a little bit of time, pull together, work together, and we'll get through it. It'll be all right. But there we are. So as I said, I'm a bit cack-handed here today. I've got to do the best I can with everything else that I've got. But anyhow, look on the bright side. Evenings are pulling out. Mornings are getting better. And we're all smiling. Now this one's a Herbert Lean one here today. When the visitors ask questions. The morning was brave and cuddly, but nice and plumb for the time of year. After dinner, the sight up the road was full as usual. Uncle and his feet was some sore. Had to use 2 6 to get there. Policeman stopped him and said he was glad to see him out, but advised him to take it easy. Yes, replied Uncle Henny, like you do. Several of the summer's visitors were still hanging around. Warden wanted indoors and too wet go out. One of them who to write down what you to say come up and sat down by the way of an open remarked how lovely and peaceful it was. Eh, said Feather. Another thing, 'tis nice and quiet. How do you manage to pass the time away? Was the first question. In the summer we'd have sat round a bit to keep out of the way of the woman, fetched hot water, but ain't to take up most of the time. Yes, but what in the winter? When 'tis wet and cold, whatever do we do then? Oh, we'd have some handsome time. We'd meet and talk over old silly you up the country people to talk. What is sherds? Was the next question. Gays, Father told him, and he put down kind of bird. No wonder scolds of them to come down here every year to be educated. By the way, yesterday you called me a get-hecker. Well, I have looked through 2 dictionaries and an encyclopedia, and there's no such thing. These never looked in the right place, said Feather. And where should I have looked? In the looking-glass, was a quick reply. I had some narrow escape once, said Willie Waistcoat. I took a fancy to a maid, mind. 'Twas years for going, and she took a fancy to me. Courted her for 8 years, on and off, when all at once she up and married another chap. One day he was on top of a rick of hay when he tumbled over and broke his neck. I can't bide think upon it, 'cause if I had married her, that would have been me. Went to the funeral, I did, for old time's sake, but wasn't many there. They that was there couldn't come 'cause 'twas on a Monday. I always say 'tis unlucky to get killed on a Friday, and that minds me of an old Tom Slow. He ordered a headstone for his first wife, but 'twas years afore 'twas finished, and Tom forgot where she was buried. Keep the stone up under his bed, he do, as his second wife is also called Mary, and like he said, only got alter the debt. Comes on, tay time, farmer's just gone up for his cows. This is another one by David Prowse, The Gladiator. Said Jan, I like a challenge. Boy, I've always been the same, and I'm always looking round for things that's worthy of the name. And once me mind is set, that's it, I give it all I got. Show me a mountain, next you know I'm waving from the top. So I thought I'd be a gladiator as seen on TV, and I filled me application and in it sent us off to sea. I lied about my age a bit, by 50 years or so, but when I got this letter back, I thought I'd better go. I wore my favourite Artex vest and a pair of khaki shorts that Ada's granddad used to wear on his trips to foreign ports. This young chap met me with the words, "And what the heck are you?" "Don't go by looks," mice said. "I'm only 22. But I've had a lot of worry, boy, and a lengthy training spell." Says he, to look the way you do would worry me as well. Now, come on, Pop, don't waste my time. You haven't got a prayer. Go home and get your knitting out and grab an easy chair. Well, try me out, I badgered him, and put me to the test. This heart of mine is pumped up and primed and thumping me in my chest. Here, look, I'll lift this barbell up. How's that for strength, my friend? Oh, said he, you'll find it harder when the weights are on the end. I could see this boy was prejudiced to make things pretty tough, so I looked around for something else on which to strut my stuff. Then I spotted this here trampoline and took a flying bound, but I bounced towards the roof. My shorts was coming down. So I boarded there and then for decency and pride by bailing out with a mid-air flip that took me on one side. Oh, I landed across the pommel horse and tried to raise a smile, but my voice was pitched soprano there for just a little while. But I wouldn't be defeated, so I wiped away the tears and jumped up on this rolling belt with half a dozen gears. Well, they must have left the thing on top. My feet went round in threes. Have you tried to run flat out from down beyond your knees? This bloke come over, flipping the switch and slapped her in reverse. If running forth was bad enough, then running back was worse. I hit the mat and off he streaked across the shiny floor. My exit was spectacular, out through the double door. Upon the step I shook my head and my ears began to sing, and I thought this gladiator's game is an overrated thing. I looked down on tomorrow's scars. 'Twas like a battle zone. You darned old fool, I told myself, and off I toddled home. "Hello," says she. "Oh, there you are. How's Mr. Dynamite? You look as though you've lost your fuse. Is everything all right?" "I've had enough of that," says I. "I'll go and change my kit. And Ada, when you've got the time, can you teach me how to knit?" Thanks very much.